the Lordship is in the field of mediation. Honorable Justice Sanjay was born on 26th of December 19 and St. Stephen's College, Delhi, where he did economics. He enrolled as an advocate with the Bar Council in 1982. Your Lordship practiced mainly in commercial, civil, writ, original companies in the Supreme Court of India from 1987 to 1999 as of Delhi High Court on 3rd of May 2001 and was appointed as a permanent judge in the year 2003. Lordship was elevated as the acting Chief Justice of Delhi High Court in the year 2012 and then elevated as Chief Justice of Punjab and Haryana High Court in the year 2013. The Lordship assumed charge as the Chief Justice of Madras High Court in the year 2014. And then the Lordship was appointed as Judge of the Supreme Court of India and has been a part of more than 565 benches and some of the famous cases which have been dealt by the Lordship are case Puttoswamy versus Union of India, General Singh versus Lakshmi Narayan Gupta, Ratnam, Sudesh Iyer versus Jaiki, Kaul and recent judgment, abrogation of Article 370 and so many cases.
Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay, Judge Supreme Court of India, to honor him and to give him we are giving him. Madam and member of present here. Honorable Judges of Supreme Court of India, past and present, Singh sir is here. We are so happy, sir. Honorable Judges of High Court, Sri Kishan Mehtaji, Madam Solicitor General of India, law officers, members of the Supreme Court Administration, Appeal Committee, Dr.Hari, Sagar, President, Supreme Court Bar Association, and my colleagues, members of the committee, Mr. Mr. Senior advocates, my esteemed colleagues, guests from press. In this evening, I, on behalf of the Executive Committee of the Supreme Court Bar Association, extend a very warm welcome to all of you who have gathered here to celebrate the legacy of Justice Kaul and give him a warm and farewell. Can we start this with a one round of applause for Justice Kaul? Luminary of legal fraternity, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kaul. His Lordship's illustrious journey is marked by an unwavering commitment to justice and to the rule of law. Sir's journey in the legal area started from Delhi University, where he acquired his LL.B. degree after graduating from the prestigious St. Stephen's College in Delhi University, along with Dr. Chandrachud as classmates at the beginning. This is called practice as a lawyer spanned from realms of commercial, civil, writ, original and company jurisdiction. Sir was also an advocate on record of the Supreme Court of India and later designated as a senior advocate. His contributions were instrumental in shaping pivotal cases across diverse domains from constitutional to banking, finance to insurance and depth of legal acumen. Elevated as an additional judge of Delhi High Court in 2001 and subsequently as a permanent judge, Justice Kaul's tenure was marked by his astute judicial wisdom, compassion and dedication to upholding the principles of justice. Haryana High Court and later as Chief Justice of the Madras High Court exemplifies leadership of the highest order. In 2017, his elevation to the apex court is a recognition of his contribution to the field infrastructure, either by way of creating capacities of manpower and by way of creating infrastructure physically and intellectually. During his tenure as a judge in the Delhi High Court, In fact, his capacity, maybe it is the mediation center, the arbitration center, in fact a hospital, a mini hospital in the High Court complex. And the state-of-art buildings today we see in Delhi High Court, in fact, is a reflection of such contribution. And his, while saying all this, and when the Christmas is round the corner, I think Justice Sanjay will permit me to say something also. Sir, you are the best. And in fact, you have given us so much as an architect, in fact, of the system. We all are beneficiaries. In fact, on pre-Diwali, sir came and immediately announced a state-of-art, probably a parking, multi-story parking for us, chambers and whatnot, and a recreational center. Sir, today, as a legacy, as a party gift to sir, and which the members will benefit, on their behalf, a Christmas wish, in fact, to you, sir. You have been a Santa to us. Sir, what and I say, sir, this is a wish that you give us a mini hospital in this complex. Only you are capable, sir. Only you are capable, and you have a big heart. Probably you will do that, and sir, they all ये सारे आपको दुआ देंगे, sir. And that is the largest thing we expect from you. Now, sir, all sir is also known. In fact, besides law and all, music, theatre, and golf. Sir, probably will get some time now, sir. So that's why, in a way, we are very happy that the next phase of his journey, probably, sir, will dedicate to the family, the grandchildren, and to the love you always wanted to enjoy. In fact, your golf, your music, theatre, which probably you have missed because of paucity of time. I wish you, sir, a very, very happy retired second innings. Of course, there is no retirement for you, sir. You have been working and you will work, I know. So therefore, sir, and you will be in Delhi, so that's a pleasure that we all will be benefited with your guidance throughout. Thank you, everybody. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Because today is the last working day of this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now my request Mr. R. Venkat Nandi, the College General for the coming report.
There are two persons on the dial with whom I cannot compete. He's on the Chief Justice. It is very portable TV or Urdu, separate as well as every time we meet here. And the hearers with this wonderful engagement of the mind. Another, of course, CBA President. So he's a marshal of his own kind. He can do so many things. Therefore, I propose to greet Justice Kaul today evening in my own little way. I would have spoken extempore, but I thought certain thoughts I might put it on paper in case it is to be added somewhere as part of a chronicle of a departing project. We often enter weighty moments both of sentiments and the storytelling, and we assemble to bid farewell. The pleasant aspects in gathering all that are unique and worthy about a judge to be narrated and shared is mixed with a weight of parting. I have this mix while I organize my deeply felt thoughts about Justice Kaul. The judicial part is a renunciation of a thought. The high demands of acting without fear or favor, and to practice doing justice objectively, calls for a training of the mind to a constant equipoise. It also calls for giving up on several friends of personal life and live in the midst of claims and issues of others who look upon the judge to pull magic and charm. The ease with which this is done becomes a special chapter of the judge. Justice Kaul qualified truly in this regard. I should say that Justice Kaul is the best edition for the high standards of the office, has turned remarkable chapters of his judicial service to we the people of India. Tall, in more than one sense he is, tall he will be remembered, as I said in the morning. The high-minded tribunal, if we say like that, objective and authoritative, sorting truth from falsehood, without playing favorites and carefully filtering personal or moral or other considerations is what I can say of him. Justice Kaul's recent judgment in Article 370, besides the statements it involved, it had sensitivity to complex social realities, which may not fit in any defined narratives. Intellectual archery coupled with sociological insights. No part of the wide spectrum of the laws and justice remain out of engagement of a judge in the higher courts and more so in Supreme Court. The national fabric of legal framework is the daily stuff of life here. The horizons of justice administration are expanding. The navigation skills to look at their common threads and their distinct dimensions, but to connect them at the constitutional fundamentals is challenging. If I scan the judicial map of Justice Kaul, I should unhesitatingly say that he possessed and demonstrated this navigation skill remarkably. He entered the judicial scene at a time when post-early stages of globalization began to impact several areas and fields of law. I should say that his grasp for the changes and relevance reflect in many of the justice opinions in the field of commercial and constitutional law. I recollect with relish our insightful exchanges of views on the Commercial Courts Act in the course of a workshop in the Bhopal Judicial Academy. Let me capture, by looking at his remarkable achievement, by citing a few judgments. In Kishan Singh was Maneka Gandhi, in an injunction suit sought against publication of autobiography of Kishan Singh on grounds of the contents being derogatory and defamatory, Justice Kaul's bench said, I quote, there is no doubt that there are two competing interests to be balanced, as subject to the rendered counsel to the respondent. That is the author to write and publish, and the right of an individual against invasion of privacy and the threat of defamation. However, the balancing of these rights would be considered as stated as a claim of damages for defamation rather than preventive action for injuncting against the publication itself. And again, writing opinion in 2008 on the dynamic between democracy and freedom of speech, he said, pluralism is the soul of democracy. There should be freedom for the thought we hate. Freedom of speech has no meaning if there is no freedom of speech. The reality of democracy is to be measured by the extent of freedom and the accommodation it extends. A liberal tolerance of a different point of view causes no damage. It means only a greater self-restraint. Our culture breeds tolerance both in thought and in actions. And he further goes on to say, there are very few people that give to think out of the box and see opportunities. And therefore, such people's thought should not be curtailed by the age-old moral sanction of a particular section of society having oblique or collateral motives who express their dissent at every drop of a hat. End quote. Writing again in support of a tolerance of literature, one may disagree with. That is in the case of a Tamil poet, Perumal Murugan, who was virtually being hounded. Justice Kaul said, if you do not like a book, throw it away. There is no compulsion to read a book. Literary taste may vary. What is right and acceptable to one may not be so to others. Yet the right to write is unhindered. And this is in line with thousands of years of Indian openness to pluralism in thought and speech. His continuing opinion in Puttaswamy, I think, must have been a slow emanation of his thoughts on his privacy perspective and their elegance and simple. In Amit Samuel's Commissioner of Police, keeping in mind the words of Walter Lippmann in mind, I quote, and this is what Walter Lippmann said, in a democracy, the opposition is not only tolerated as constitutional, but will be maintained because it is indispensable. And what did Justice Kaul say? He said, Howard underscored the limits of public protest in public places. His judgment on Ajit Mohan versus Delhi Legislative Assembly, requiring Facebook to submit to legislative inquiries, reminds us of the emerging literature on unregulated social media and the power of digital giants. Are we entering in a world without mind? Such opinions open us up to new and uncharted fields of social understanding. I have picked up only few opinions to notice, that weave the thought patterns of the Honorable Judge, which beautifully connect his humanistic philosophy, blended with a balancing state power and social regulations. His well-articulated intervention in promotion of equal and special opportunities for women officers in armed services, while he was the Delhi High Court, has now become an indelible part of equal opportunities due to students, only to be further strengthened by Honorable Chief Justice, if I may say so, with the Chief Justice judged with lavish attention. If I may say so with respect, I have a holy task now to be a Raksha Bandhan brother to all the women army officers. The narration will be incomplete without reference to remarkable engagement with the incidents of unduly lawyer protest inside the Madras High Court Commission. What Justice Kaul did by getting the CSF to ensure against the hooliganism of the legal fraternity, unfortunately, was not only extraordinary, but just that which is required to secure the nobility and sanctity of the institution of justice. The critiques raised notwithstanding, the strict dose of treatment yielded the result. We wish and pray that his handling of the situation be etched as a story of dignity restoration forever needed to remind the bar about its special social responsibilities. We always look forward to some qualities in every judge. Equal regard of all members of the bar, encouragement to the younger members, acknowledging quality assistance, and most of all, putting up with the sound and fury and sometimes empty noise in the court. And Justice Kaul has showered on us all ample measures on all of them. His serene and warming smile will remind me of an elder statesman who will be missed. His contributions as Chairman Nalsa will sure germinate big aim. Can I not say? He scored a century by organizing the international conference and access to justice, which too has brought significant exchanges of views among Asian, African judiciary and the executive, and it has sown seeds for many more international understandings. Finally, his constant reminders to me from the bench towards refining and expanding judicial appointments has assisted me in planning some issues, and I hope more will be done soon. An evening farewell is too brief a time to capture or to have a total portrait of a judge with long, illustrious contribution. I remain sad in this regard, and therefore say, Justice Kaul leaves us without leaving.
Thank you, sir. May I request Dr. Hari Sagar to just an essay to continue with it.
Honorable Dr. Chief Justice, D.Y. Kaul, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Judge, Supreme Court of India, other Honorable Judges of Supreme Court of India, Mr. Justice Sanjay, Mr. Justice Ujjain, Mr. Justice Gaur, and Mr. Justice Roy, Mr. Justice A.S. Oka, Mr. Justice Vikram, Mr. Justice Jitendra Kumar Maheshwari, Miss Justice Hanmat Lodhi, Mr. Justice Sanjay, Miss Justice Bela Trivedi, Justice P.S. Narasimha, Mr. Justice Sudhanshu Bhudia, Mr. Justice Pankaj Mittal, Mr. Justice Sanjay Kaul, Mr. P.V. Sanjay Kumar, Mr. Justice Esamuddin Amanullah, Mr. Justice Manoj Mishra, Mr. Justice Rajesh Bindal, Mr. Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra, Mr. Justice K.V. Vishwanathan, Mr. Justice Ujjain, Mr. Justice S.D. Mr. Justice Sharma, Mr. Justice Masih, Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta. Some may be asking why I mentioned own names, because we have to recognize, because my friends will be not mind that lordship are sitting in front side.
That's why learned Attorney General, Honorable Mr. Justice C.T. Ravi Kumar, and so much, sometimes this mistake happens. But I'm thankful to my Honorary Secretary, he given me opportunity to feel sorry and correct the mistake. Learned Attorney General for India, Mr. R. Vikram, learned Solicitor General for India, Mr. Kishan Mehta, learned Additional Solicitor General of India, Senior Advocates, Honorable sitting and retired judges from different parts of India, including Mr. Justice Vikram Sanjay, who just retired from Chief Justice of Uttarakhand. I will request sitting in the end, please. Learned Advocate General of different states, learned Vice President Mr. Sukumar Patjoshi, Honorary Secretary Mr. Rohit Pandey, Joint Secretary Mr. Manish Kumar Dubey, Treasurer Mr. Yugandhra Pawar Jha, and Joint Treasurer Mr. Amren Kumar Singh, and other distinguished office bearers and members of Supreme Court Bar Association, and our former President Mr. Rajesh Khanna. Learned President Mr. Manoj Kumar Mishra, Vice President Mr. Sanjay Mukherjee, Honorary Secretary Mr. Dev, Joint Secretary Ms. Rasmi Malhotra, Treasurer Mr. Puneet Singh Mitra, and Joint Treasurer Mr. Sachin Sharma, and other distinguished office bearers and members of Supreme Court Advocate on Record Association, family members of Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan, Judge Supreme Court of India, officers of the Registry of Supreme Court led by Secretary General Mr. Ashok M. Kodekar, distinguished media persons, my brothers and sisters in the legal profession. In the last working day before closing for winter vacations, we have gathered to say goodbye to a distinguished judge who will be demitting office on the 25th of December this year. Justice Kaul had a vast judicial career spanning over 22 years. These 22 years have seen Justice Kaul contributing immensely to growth of the law and ensuring that the benefit of law reaches the common man. I have been noticing the style of judging of Justice Kaul ever since he took over as Judge of the High Court of Delhi, and I have observed that Justice Kaul decides cases not only by his head but also by his heart. We saw that in the Article 370 case, Mr. Justice Kaul recommended setting up a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to look into human rights violations. It shows that Justice Kaul does not ignore history and context when deciding cases. The views articulated by Justice Kaul are thought-provoking and must be debated in light of historical wrongs that have taken place in the state. It is also noted that when applying the law to the facts of the case, Mr. Justice Kaul is not swayed by popular opinion. He will uphold constitutional values which he has sworn to protect. For example, he has fiercely protected the freedom of speech and artistic expression. He has waited for gender equality. He has stood for personal liberty and did not allow it to be endangered by the present power of the state. Through his decisions, he has come to the aid of the downtrodden and vulnerable sections of society. Justice Kaul had never subscribed to hyper-technical views on procedures. He never got entangled into technologies and always tried to give a substantive relief which was due to a person. In the field of criminal law, the judgments of Justice Kaul deserve credit for refining of principles to avoid compensation to victims of crime. The one thing which everybody would have noticed about the judgment delivered by Justice Kaul is the use of simple language, no matter how complex the issue is. Justice Kaul is able to express it with clarity in small sentences. This shows that Justice Kaul made an extra effort to ensure that his decision is read and understood not only by the lawyers but also the litigants and the common man who is unconnected to the case. The Supreme Court lays down the law for the country, and it is important that its decision can be understood by all citizens of the country. In this behalf, I wish to commend the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Dr. Justice D. Vikram, for taking steps to have judgments translated in local languages for them to be understood by one and all. Justice Kaul has also displayed extraordinary administrative skills. Your Lordship may recollect that when your Lordship was acting Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, you were also the Chancellor of National Law University of Delhi. At that time, I was the Chairman of Bar Council of Delhi and member of the Governing Council of the University. I used to attend meetings of the Governing Council and noticed the keen interest Justice Kaul took to promote legal education. He combined wisdom and foresight to give insight and help to bring in a number of changes. Here in the Supreme Court too, Justice Kaul has taken the National Legal Services Authority to new heights as its executive chairman. He has the ability to identify the right people for right job. My Lord has always taken a stand for what he believes in. He also has the courage to push for his reformist views against all odds. All the qualities have made Justice Kaul popular at the bar. Even as a lawyer, he had a fan following of number of advocates. I recall that in the year 1991, Delhi High Court Bar Association elections were held. I contested for the post of Executive Committee. Mr. Kishan, now senior advocate, who is the brother of Mr. Justice Kaul, also contested the election. It is due to your popularity that Mr. Kishan received the highest vote. And I stood second. Mr. Kishan was first, if I were to be elected. So, he was so popular, not alone, with the brother also, and father. But we both got elected because there were 5 posts. My Lord, we sincerely thank you for your dedication to the nation and to the cause of justice. You have contributed to the life of the court in different capacities. The Supreme Court Bar Association wishes you and your family the very best for the future. Your retirement does not end your long and illustrious career, and we will continue to seek guidance from the vast experience you have collected over the 4 decades of association with the law. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. or Justice A.K.C.P. sir is here. You are welcome, sir. Now, may I request Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandra to please just come in here.
शुरुआत में मुझे कुछ ऐसा लगा कि एससीबीए के अध्यक्ष महोदय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के सारे जजेस का कुछ रोल कॉल ले रहे थे। थोड़ी देर के बाद ये भी पता चला कि उनकी एग्जीक्यूटिव कमेटी का भी रोल कॉल ले रहे थे। तो मेरे वरिष्ठ सहयोगी और मित्र संजय किशन कौल साहब और मेरी कॉलेज की भाषा में कहना चाहूँ तो मैं ये कह सकता हूँ कि हरीश अग्रवाल साहब सबका क्लास ले रहे थे। Brother Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, my gracious and lovely spouse Shivani Kaul, my colleagues in the Supreme Court, a very distinguished elder brother Justice Arjun Sikri, Attorney General Mr. R. Venkatramani, Solicitor General Mr. Tushar Mehta, President of the SCBA Dr.